Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the really complex story of Jaipur's elephants. It's a tale that's just steeped in royalty and religion, but it's also one that's become a pretty serious modern ethical dilemma. For so many tourists who visit Jaipur's magnificent Amber Fort, getting a ride on an elephant to the top is this iconic, must-do experience. But this very tradition, well, it's right at the heart of a really fierce and emotional debate. Okay, so let's start right at the heart of the controversy, which is the daily experience for these elephants at Amber Fort, one of India's most popular tourist spots. So get this, according to reports, this is the kind of heavy burden that gets placed on these animals. And it's not just about the weight. They have to make this steep, kilometer-long climb, often in some really intense heat, all on these hard cobbled stones. And it gets worse. Animal welfare groups have actually documented a whole troubling range of serious health problems among the working elephants. All that walking on hard surfaces leads to these really painful foot injuries. But investigations have shown that the problems run much, much deeper. We're talking everything from infectious diseases like tuberculosis to blood problems, really bad malnourishment, and even blindness. Activists who are right there on the ground, people like Gajendra Sharma, they argue that the physical and, the psychological toll on these wild animals is just undeniable. They really believe that if you just look closely, the elephants themselves are telling you how much they're suffering. So you have to ask, right? How did these incredible animals, which were once these powerful symbols of royalty, get caught up in this modern-day conflict? To really get what's happening now, we have to look back. We need to understand the deep cultural and historical roots that elephants have in this part of India.
Well, the answer takes us deep into Rajasthan's history, a time and place where these animals were way more than just tourist attractions. They were actually central figures in war and royalty.
You see, over centuries, the elephant's job description has changed a lot.
They were once these incredible war machines, these trusted partners for kings on the battlefield. Then they became these living symbols of royal power in grand ceremonies. And now, in our modern era, their main job has become carrying tourists.
And you can actually see this high status cemented in the art from the 16th to the 19th centuries. These beautiful miniature paintings, they're not just pretty pictures, they're basically historical records, and they show just how essential elephants were to the identity and the whole spectacle of royal culture. In this comparison right here, it really shows the stark contrast, doesn't it? We see this massive shift from being partners in war and symbols of power to their main jobs today in tourism. But look at that last line. The emergence of ethical sanctuaries. That signals a new and very different chapter in their story.
But it goes even deeper than just royalty and war. To really understand the connection here, we have to look at the sacred place these animals hold in the region's spiritual life.
What's absolutely crucial to understand is that elephants are woven right into the religious fabric of the culture. An elephant isn't just an animal, it's a divine symbol embodied by Lord Ganesha, who is one of the most revered deities in Hinduism. This reverence is literally carved in stone right at the entrances to temples. So this tradition of adorning elephants, of painting them, it's been going on for a long, long time. It's seen as an act of devotion, of celebration. Painting them with these vibrant, natural colors for festivals is how the community honors their sacred status. And remember this point because it's going to come up again in a really big way in just a minute. So as awareness about animal welfare has grown, both around the world and locally, a new model has started to pop up. One that tries to honor this incredible history while putting the well-being of the animals first. Places like Elephantastic are trying to show a different path forward. The core idea is simple, a no-ride environment. The focus shifts to interaction, so visitors can feed, bathe, and just walk alongside these giants. Now, what's really crucial is that this model also works to preserve cultural heritage. It gives jobs to local mahouts, the traditional elephant caregivers, whose families have cared for elephants for generations. It bridges their deep expertise with modern ethics. And finally, it puts education first, teaching tourists about the historical importance of elephants and why we urgently need new, humane practices. But like any big change, this transition to a new chapter, it's anything but simple. The path forward is really complicated by new controversies and the very real challenge of telling the difference between what's authentic and what's just exploitation. And that brings us to a very recent flashpoint. A Russian photographer painted an elephant pink for an art project in Jaipur. The pictures went viral and almost immediately, there was this huge backlash online from people who just saw it as a step way too far. But here's where it gets complicated. The artist, Julia Buruleva, she defended her work. She argued that she used the exact same kind of safe, organic paints that are used in local festivals, which connects her art right back to that tradition of adornment we talked about earlier. And this just ignited a complex debate. Where exactly is the line between respectful cultural engagement, artistic freedom, and animal welfare? And to complicate things even more for tourists who are really trying to do the right thing, there's a growing warning from other travelers. Not every place that slaps the name sanctuary on itself is actually operating ethically. That label, it can be really misleading sometimes. I mean, listen to this review from just a few months ago. It highlights the real-world dilemma perfectly. Visitors who really want to make a responsible choice can find it incredibly hard to tell the difference between a genuine rescue center and a business that's just trying to cash in on the trend of ethical tourism. So, in the end, the story of Jaipur's elephants is still being written. It's this powerful intersection of ancient tradition and modern ethics, and the choices that get made by locals, by the authorities, and by every single tourist who visits. Those are the choices that will decide what this next chapter holds for these truly magnificent animals.